Hello everyone, my name is Alise A Préjéan, and I wanted to do a video for you that is discussing a recent planetary transit, and this was the Sun in Leo in an opposition with Saturn retrograde in Aquarius. So this happened, the exact opposition was yesterday, although I think we could have been feeling this the last few days. And I just have been contemplating this because I was observing what was happening in my life and really observing how it was really gifting me with some interesting insights that I would like to share with you. So the Sun in Leo opposing Saturn retrograde in Aquarius really could have been having us have experiences happening in the outside world that may have brought up some childhood memories, may have brought up some experiences where we are observing our parenting skills or other people parenting. We could have had experiences that we were having things in the outside world trigger memories from our childhood that can be helpful in our restructuring our consciousness in a new way in order to self-actualize in a new way, because the Leo energy, the Leo consciousness is really about self-actualizing our sense of self-love and then what and who and how we love, right? And so I always think of Leo as more of expressing our love nature. Although I know a lot of people correlate Leo with the heart and with love, and that's not wrong or inappropriate, but I think of as Leo as actually self-actualizing, a process that was really happening in our Taurus consciousness, right? So Venus is correlated with the heart chakra, and Venus rules Taurus and Libra. And instead of ruling, I actually like to call this guides. So this planet is guiding our Taurian consciousness, right? Or our Libra consciousness. Now, Venus, as it guides Taurus consciousness, is the yin form of Venus. So this is where we are pulling consciousness inward and cultivating from the inside out, right? So we cultivate our love. We cultivate what we love. We actually are pulling consciousness inward to recognize what we love and how we actually love ourselves first. And then once we've actually developed into Leonian consciousness, we are actually learning or we are self-actualizing, or we're creatively expressing or learning how to self-actualize that love that we've cultivated. And if you follow astrology or my videos, you likely already know that the transiting nodes are in Taurus and Scorpio. And the nodes are just actually referring to the moon's nodes. And so this is how we're really looking at our emotional attachments or emotional experience of the Taurus and Scorpio axes and consciousness within ourselves and out in the world collectively, right? And Uranus, transiting Uranus, is in Taurus. So we've been updating how we value things, how we resource ourselves, how we cultivate love in our life, and how we actually recognize what we recognize as love in our life. And this is updated, right? Because we evolve over time. And Pluto has been in Capricorn since 2008. Pluto is really exposing how we've structured our consciousness internally, because Capricorn is a yin sign. And it's also assisting us to really dismantle some form of internal reality that isn't resonant with our evolutionary trajectory now. And so it's assisting us to actually dismantle foundations internally in our consciousness that is not up to date, and also, and I mean up to date with our evolution, because we evolve, right? And Pluto is at the last 5 degrees-ish of Capricorn. So we really are in this quickening phase of resolving our experience of this dismantling of chapters of our own evolutionary trajectory since 2008, right? And I really believe that because of other aspects, astrological aspects, which I won't go into right now, but you could look at past videos and find where I talk about them. But, because of other planetary transits we've been having over the last handful of years, this is really actually putting us on a completely new evolutionary platform in our life, right? We are getting to the next level. We really are evolving our consciousness in a very profound way, because we're completing many layers of our evolutionary journey. And as I've talked about before, we're also, because of that, there's this emptiness that's happening in our lives to be able, or to assist us in actually creating something completely new and seed something completely new for ourselves in our evolutionary journey. So it's very helpful that we experience this Sun opposition to Saturn retrograde, because this is helping us to continue to assess past chapters in our lives, which can correlate to our familial line, how we were parented, how that shaped our consciousness, and how we actually want to create something new, and really see something new in the family line in regards to how we structure our consciousness, how we structure our reality, how we structure our family life, what our values are in regards to that. Now, with this Sun opposition Saturn, we could have experienced, as I said, coming to some memories, coming to some experiences in the outside world that were reminding us of memories that help us to see how we've been structuring our consciousness. Now, remember that Leo is the divine child, and we're all divine children, always, no matter how old or mature we are here self-actualizing our love. And if you look at children, they're so naturally expressing what they love. They always want to be doing what they love. They always are going from one thing to the next. What's the next fun thing to do? What's the next fun way to play? What's the next thing that brings joy and self-discovery? And they're naturally geared to learn about themselves through experiencing what they love. And I just want to briefly mention that the day before Sun was opposing Saturn, my daughter and I were off island. We live on an island, and we went to the mainland, and we were shopping and doing all kinds of things, and we came across some experiences where we were really noticing, well, I should say my daughter brought to my attention something that she noticed, and she just felt compelled to talk about, right? And she was saying that, she said, Mom, there was this kid that was asking their mom for ice cream, or their parent for ice cream. And the parent was so mean. And, she was just like, no, no. And just really harsh and mean and abrupt. And, why couldn't she have just said, no, it's just not a good time. Can we do it another time? And so then we kept seeing this repeated theme, and we were noticing how parents were speaking really in a way that was very shameful, like shaming their children for whatever their children was expressing. This is so the sun approaching the opposition to Saturn retrograde. And no doubt, we've all been likely shamed in some way, in society, or maybe in our family, for just naturally going towards what we love or what we want in the moment. We all know, if you're a parent, it's tough to be a parent. It's very challenging because often you are contending with your child that's constantly, oh, I want that. Oh, I want that, oh, this sounds good in the moment, And so you do have to really discipline yourself to respond without that pressure, or without, because we experience pressure as parents, we experience just pressure in general in our lives, right? And that tension. And so I have empathy for these parents, because I recognize that likely they were tense, they were stressed. It was a moment. I can't be, it's not productive for me to be judgmental of, something that I was noticing and passing by. But it was this then ongoing conversation that my daughter and I were having, and recognizing how normalized shaming, blaming, and guilt tripping are in our society, at least in the United States. I can't speak for everywhere, right? And shame, blame, guilt is actually a Capricorn or Saturn theme. And so my daughter and I were talking about how, the unfortunate thing is that when you're, well, I don't know about unfortunate, but the thing to consider, I think, is that when we're children, we are literally like computers being programmed by our experiences and by our family and our caregivers, our primary caregivers, because we are in a vulnerable place, and we are learning about how to survive and thrive in the world. And so we were talking about how this experience, if that was a repeated theme for the child, it would be really actually unconsciously programming this child to feel shame for going out and getting what it wants, and for actually having those desires, and for, expressing their desire, expressing what they love, which in this case was ice cream, And so then, that child can then grow up and have to unwind that conditioning and go through a journey of having to heal one's own defaults, or this programming around survival and thrival. And so the sun opposing Saturn can have us recognizing those things in maybe by just observing what's happening in our lives in the moment and observing the outer reality. And it can have us trigger, it can trigger memories so that we can actually bring them to the surface to heal them and to reprogram our defaults. Because remember, Scorpio is the south node of the moon right now. So this is a great opportunity to reprogram the unconscious mind so that we can thrive in our present moment and not have these old defaults that were potentially programmed from past experiences in our relationships. Because remember, Venus is in Leo right now. So this is also, really looking at, well, have there been, are we surrounding ourselves with people who love us and people who actually honor our love and what we love and how we want to cultivate our love and how we want to go and get what we want in our world. And that way we're resourced in order to actually express and share that love in the way that we self-actualize it, right? And so we contribute that love in the world. So the Sun opposition Saturn retrograde in Aquarius is such a beneficial experience right now, because we can be looking at, how do I want to self-actualize what I love? And also, how can I do that in a playful way? Just like the divine child that we all are, no matter how mature we are, ultimately we want to be self-actualizing what we find to be worthy of our love. And also, how we want to funnel our love into building the reality we desire to experience and to contribute in the world. And how can we create more beauty, which is a Venusian theme, by actually really supporting not only ourselves in expressing what we love, how we love, who we love, and to self-actualize that love, but also supporting others in what they love and how they desire to go after what they love in the moment. And actually, and what I mean go after is just to self-actualize that love, to do what they want to do that is fun and in the moment and fun and brings joy, right? Another piece I really want to be mentioning here is that Saturn also has to do with timing. And so in this example that I'm sharing, it's like, with the kid who wanted the ice cream, if there was a way, because sometimes timing is really important. Sometimes it's like, in order to actually really self-actualize what we desire, it's got to be the right timing. In other words, if we've had tons of sugar and we want ice cream, yeah, we could indulge in the ice cream, but it might actually not be the right time, and we're actually not going to feel good after it because we've had too much sugar. Or, maybe there's something else that is more necessary in the moment, but there's another time that would be more appropriate. So like example is, could this parent have said, hey, I totally understand why you'd want ice cream, but actually this timing isn't really conducive to that. What if we could actually find another time that would be actually where we could enjoy it even more? So it's something to consider. I understand as a parent that it takes a lot of resolve in certain moments to actually take a deep breath before we respond. So I don't want to be shaming the parent or blaming or guilt tripping. But it is something to consider, is how can we, maybe slow down enough so that we can actually support the timing, but also support whatever it is that we are desiring to enjoy in the moment, and therefore build on creating more beauty, more joy, and more self-actualizing what we love and how we like to experience reality. So I hope this is helpful. If you have any insights, thoughts, comments, it's always fun to interact, so please do feel free if you feel inclined to share. And of course, share this video if you find it helpful. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel and you find this video helpful, of course I would be delighted to have you as a subscriber, so you're welcome to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.